Just got back from a 7 kilometer run. Just cooling down now. This is my second 7 kilometer barefoot run in the last week or so. And 7K is not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's just a little bit under 5 miles, I think. But for me, considering the health condition that I had over the winter, where at one point, I could barely walk 2 blocks without wheezing and hacking so much that I would throw up. For me, being able to run 7 kilometers now and feel good, um, that's a huge improvement, and I'm just going to keep building it, distance and speed. Maybe by next year or so, maybe I'll be able to run a marathon. I was thinking it'd be pretty cool, at some point to be able to maybe run a marathon with my dad or with Wayne Lee. Um, Maybe in a few years off, try to do an ultra marathon, and that would be something. Not too many people in the world are able to do those, but something to train toward. If it's a possibility. So while I was running today, I was thinking about things and came up with something that's very worthy of sharing, I think. And it was something I was milling over from this morning because I was making a nutrition video this morning, and I was talking about how I've been having this problem where, at night, after dinner, before bed, a few hours in there, I start kind of like junking out, a lot of sugar, overindulge in wine, and eat chocolate, gummy candies, whatever kind of sugary garbage junk is around. And, I don't really know what that's about. I mean, I know that as humans, we got this sweet tooth because for most of our history, it's been, it's been difficult to get that nutrition, to get that part of our diet, that sweet sugary part. It's been difficult to hunt that down. Fruits only come out a little portion of the year, and so we have that natural craving. And nowadays, though, it's so easy to get sugary stuff that we overindulge, and this is what causes a lot of modern health problems. And for me, I don't know why I junk out like that in the evening, but I do. And what I noticed this morning is, as I was talking about it, right away, my rationale went toward this discourse about how I maybe need to crack down on myself in the evenings and be more disciplined. And then I caught myself, and I don't know how often I use that discourse, either in my talking or in my thinking. I suspect it's quite a bit, because it's very pervasive in our culture, and I didn't really recognize how pervasive it was until I was running, and then I was milling all of this over. And of course, it's naturalized because it's so built into the culture. It's naturalized to the extent that even I didn't give that discourse much of a critical thought at all. My mind went directly there when I was considering my nutrition, and this was my answer, was I'm going to have to crack down and be more disciplined. But upon reflection and turning a more critical eye to that discourse, I think that's really the wrong way to go with discipline. In fact, it may be the source of the problem itself, because I don't know how you are, but for me, whenever something's being forced on me, my natural tendency is to resist it, to rebel against it. And discipline is like forcing something on yourself. And so it could very well be that my, junking out at night with the sugar is a response to my own sense that what I'm doing nutritionally is disciplining myself to eat better. And then, these times come where, I resist that. And I like binge on garbage. And, very well may be a rebellion against the discipline. Who knows? But when I thought about it, when I consider it, I can see that this whole discourse about discipline is so pervasive in the culture that even, there's cultural institutions built around it. And even time and space has been kind of warped to reflect it. Say, for instance, if you're getting into fitness, most people, if they want to make a change in their fitness, they maybe buy a membership to a gym, and so that's the place. There's a specialized place where they're going to get fit, and then they dedicate certain hours. Like maybe they're going to get off of work, and so they're going to go there from 5:30 to 7:30 every night, and that's how they're going to get fit. And they just got to have the discipline to get there and be there every night in order to get fit. And again, most of the time that fails. Compare that with somebody who isn't in that discipline mode of thinking, where they just enjoy healthy activities. They might also have a gym pass. They might not. But if they do, chances are they're going to be at the gym whenever they can. Maybe if they got a day off, they're there all day. Another example, for instance, take for instance writing. A couple of decades ago, I was doing a lot of creative writing, and I was doing lots of workshop stuff with other writers, and it's almost like a mantra, the way that they talk about that discipline thing, where they say, if you want to be a writer, or if you want to be a better writer, then you need to have the discipline to write every day. You need to write for a couple of hours a day. But then I think to myself, most of the people that are trying to do that never become writers. The guys who are really writers, they just write every day naturally. They don't have to think about it as something that they need to discipline themselves to do every day. They just like to do it, so they do it. Or how about another example? Say somebody wants to learn how to play guitar. There's different ways you can go about doing it. Some people will they'll take a guitar class, or they'll commit themselves to certain hours. Like they'll say, I'm going to practice for an hour and a half every day. I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to have the discipline in the evening to sit down and play the guitar for an hour and a half, so I can get better, so I can learn it or whatever. That's one way of doing it, but I think the progress is pretty slow doing it that way, compared to somebody who just really wants to be playing and isn't in that disciplined frame of mind. The person that really wants to be playing, they'll carry that guitar around with them all the time. It'll be attached at their hip, and they're going to be playing whenever they get a chance to play. They might, anytime they get 10 minutes, they might be playing that guitar. And they'll really progress quick, and they'll learn that guitar. I look at children, And the way children are when they're learning something for the first time, and they're enjoying the learning, they'll just do it and do it and do it. You know, they'll do it so repetitively and so much that it might even drive the adults around them nuts, because they're doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And they do it all day long. You know, or I look at my birds, it's the same way. When they want to learn something, you know, they don't just set aside some time during the day to do it for an hour or whatever. They'll do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, you know. As long as they're enjoying it, they're going to keep doing it, whatever they're learning from it. So I really am starting to think that this whole idea of having to have the discipline to do something is not the kind of mind frame that you should have if you really want to develop yourself in whatever that way is, whatever you're looking at. I think it's better to just totally immerse yourself in it, and don't create special places and times and this kind of thing for it. Don't look at it as something you got to force yourself to do every day. You know, look at it as something you enjoy doing, and you're just going to do it as often as you can do it, and as often as you feel like doing it. Because I think once you start down that road of thinking about it as something that you have to discipline yourself for, then chances are you're going to naturally rebel against your own discipline and self-sabotage your training, so that you never get to where it is you want to go, or who you want to be, or what you want to be able to do. So yeah, so this is what I was thinking about, and it's something that, you know, a lot of people will just get in this frame of mind without thinking about it, just unconsciously, like I was doing myself. And for me, I'm going to start trying to be more aware of when I am going down that road, and try to catch myself, and not think about things that way, because I don't think it appears to me that it's not very helpful, and it's not going to take me where I want to go in any aspect of my life, to be thinking about anything as something that I have to force myself to do. So that's what I wanted to share.